What's your story and circumstances?
My story is I've had mental health problems since about the age of 14, acute anxiety and depression, which I still take medication for. In 2005 I had cancer, and that was when I got help with my mental health. And now I work for a place called Launchpad, which is mental health services out in Newcastle, and work at Northumbria University and deliver training for Time to Change, which is a national campaign to end the stigma.
My story is, as in mental health, I've always suffered from some sort of problem as long as I can remember, going back to when I was a child, very young child. What started it off, I'm not sure if it's in my blood, I'm not sure if it's been passed down, I couldn't really say.
I've suffered from anxiety pretty much for the past 5-6 years.
Oh, it's long. Going back more than 40 years.
My story and circumstance mostly revolves around what it's like pre-borderline personality diagnosis and then post-borderline personality diagnosis. So pre-diagnosis I had a big long list of organisations who tried to help me, medications I'd tried and issues that I'd had. No one ever seemed to be able to really pin it down. And then sort of in my mid-20s I had a really horrible CPN, to be honest, who would do anything to get rid of me. And she found a personality disorder specialist to come talk to me, who straight away picked up the signs and symptoms, the very chaotic life, and straight away said, you've got borderline. So after that it was a case of, right, now I know what's wrong, so what do we do about it? Because nothing I've tried helps. And she recommended me for something called dialectical behavioural therapy, and I did like a year of pretty intense work. And then after that, it still took another couple of years of just like going out there and living it and implementing it.
I suppose you could say in my, late teens or early 20s, went through a deep period of depression. Now I suppose, after a lot of other people have come forward, now I'm more comfortable to openly admit that, I've experienced that as well, it's, yeah.
Well, I've got bipolar, and it mainly presents in like mood swings. They can vary in length.
I go out with someone who's got BPD, so it's borderline personality disorder. I've been going out with them for nearly 4 years, but they didn't get diagnosed until about a year and a half ago.
Before your mental health issues, what was your day-to-day life like?
Numb. Very, very numb. I was in a science class, my ears were going deaf, my heart was racing, I couldn't feel my body, and then there was this kid who was just shouting abuse at us, and it just made it worse and worse and worse. And then 3 years prior it went on and on and on.
Day-to-day life has always been mixed up, that's the wrong word, cursed by mental health problems. It's always affected the way I am, the way I live my life.
On and off I've had issues since I was about 15, so I hadn't really experienced what it was like until quite recently, actually being an adult and having like a normal life. But there were periods where things were okay, like stable times where, I'd get up and I was doing a lot of studying, or I'd spend time with my kids. Day-to-day life was about, being hopeful and thinking, oh, well, I'm doing this study because I want to have a job and I've got this wonderful family and I'm looking forward to going on holiday.
I felt alone. I thought there was something wrong with me that wouldn't happen to anybody else. And I also self-harmed, tried to end my life, and I felt like I didn't know anybody else cut themselves, and I didn't know they used that as a coping mechanism, and I went on to self-harm for over 20 years.
After your mental health issues, what was your day-to-day life like?
after my mental health issues. Well, I still live with mental health issues, but I've got, whereas before, when I was depressed and down, every thought I had was negative. And if I got asked to do something that I wasn't used to doing, I would automatically say no, whereas now I live my life by pushing myself out of my comfort zone and trying new things, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't said yes to a few things and pushed myself out of my comfort zone.
Well, I refused to go to school. I still went to school, but it took a fight to go to school. And my parents did not understand whatsoever what was going on, so I had no choice to go to school.
That's a hard one. Quite alone. I felt like I was trying to self-diagnose all the time because I didn't quite know what was going on, but I knew that something was wrong and something was like not right. I was just feeling I don't know really, it's yeah.
How did you feel when you found out about your partner's mental health?
Mass relief, first off, because it was like, that's what's the matter. And then I give it a label so we could go and look at it and find out about it, because it was something I think neither of us had really heard of before. But then also alongside that, there was like a massive sense of responsibility and feeling a little bit scared, I think, because I didn't know anything and I was going, God, what does that mean? What do I have to do now? Does that mean we're not going to last? Because when she gets better, does that mean she's going to disappear? Like all of that sort of fear factor kind of kicked in. So it made me feel insecure, but relieved at the same time. It was weird.
Yeah. How would your friends describe you?
I don't know. A bit sensitive.
I haven't got many friends, but that's by the by. A lot of my friends say there's nothing wrong with you. It's just you're feeling upset, but they don't. Nobody can understand until they're there.
Yeah.
Loud, confident, weird, crazy, but in a good way apparently.
What do you find helps?
Everyone will hate me for saying this, but a cup of tea or a good bath, the whole crisis team mantra genuinely will help me. If I can buy myself 5 minutes when I'm getting really distressed, it stops me doing my impulsive actions, because usually 5 minutes later I would regret them anyway. So it's like, if I can just buy myself a bit of time to have a think before I'm doing something.
My personal thing is Zen. I've also got in this local group and also a wider network, Sangha you can call it. And then, it helps to have a shared perspective with people.
We talk a lot more. We do now. And that's been a skill we've had to learn, because it's not just talking about how was your day and stuff like that, but like when there's moments of calm, being able to talk to each other and be honest and open.
What helps coming to work every day, believe it or not, when most people say they don't want to go to work on a Monday, I can't wait to get to work.
What do you need?
That's a broad question. I could do with a proper income. I mean, I live on state benefits, which are adequate and nothing better.
Me personally, in my life, I probably need a partner. Somebody to be there in my life, because I haven't at the minute, and it's like my wife died 18 months ago, so I'm finding it very difficult.
What do I need? Oh, I don't know.
It's quite like an open question, but
It is very open. A more normal life, more sort of stability, like career-wise, because I change my mind what I'm doing all the time. Don't really know, like.
This is where I always feel a bit guilty, but it's important for self-care for the partner as well, because I think sometimes you put so much energy into supporting and learning and finding out about that condition that you can lose yourself, and that can impact on other loved ones. Like, it might impact on my son, but my family and my friends and stuff like that. It's important to look after me, because if I'm energised, then I can help and give more energy.
Yeah.
What do I need? Other than to win the lottery or a really big mug of coffee. For me, having a supportive and listening family around us who are not judging us, who are quite accepting of where I've been and where I'm going and the effort that I'm always making. That is a really big thing for me. I think that sort of is a foundation I build everything on.
Can others help you, and how can they do this?
But I find it has actually helped to talk to people. When I was off sick from work for a long time with mental health issues, among other things, when I went back to work and I confided in my manager, it was probably the best thing I ever did, because he was extremely supportive and my work's been extremely supportive, and if it wasn't for them I would never have been working again, probably, I don't know.
Well, others can only help me if I'm communicating effectively my needs. So it's and then it's a two-way thing, of course.
Has being in a relationship with someone with mental health problems changed you?
Probably, yeah. I've never been someone who's all about myself or anything like that anyway. I'm quite a person that's got a lot of empathy for a lot of things, and in my work that's always been there. But when you're in a relationship with someone, it makes you realise how not needy that you've been in the past, but it's made you realise actually in a relationship, everyone says it's about compromise, but it's more than compromise when you're in a relationship with someone with mental illness. You do give a lot of yourself, but that makes you more self-aware about what you need and what you can give, and setting safe boundaries for yourself and for other people in your family as well, so that you're all happy.
Have you ever felt discriminated or embarrassed to tell people about your mental health problems?
Oh yeah. For a lot of years I didn't even mention it. It might be used against me, or, seen as a problem, or there might be a reason to be rejected.
From about the age of 14 to about, I would say 25, 26, I was called a nutcase, a psycho, a lunatic, and I used to shave my head and started getting tattoos just to portray the image that they were making me out to be.
I told the teacher, they would just be like, oh, stop being so, sensitive and stuff like that, or stop being so cowardly, you just don't want to go to school, stop pretending you're not well.
Yeah. Not necessarily discriminated against, but definitely embarrassed. And when I do tell people, I find that I tell them as if I'm talking about someone else, as if I'm talking about a scientific something or other, rather than about myself as a person.
Massively, because I've lost a lot of friends because of it, because they don't get it, which is sad, but at the same time, they weren't all mates and whatever. Kind of.
What would you like people to know about your condition?
It's normal, people suffer from it. Anxiety and depression are the two most common mental health issues out there. It should be talked about more.
What it's like. nobody else. Yes, people can have an idea, but as I say, yeah, people are the same, but also the individuals. So individual people have different levels. There's anxiety, mine's like force 10, some people's maybe is force 2. So nobody can actually know what it's like to be you. It's just somebody to be there. Somebody to be there, because quite often I feel like dead lonely. And I'm not the only one, but you know, I do, so.
Regarding my condition, which is acute anxiety and depression, you can live with it. You can live a normal life. People think if you put on medication, you can't function, you can't live a life, which I thought for a lot of years, but now I live my life around the medication. So you can take medication and have mental health problems, and with the right support, you can achieve anything.
That's the last question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Don't know if I should add that bit.
People with mental health problems could snap out of it if they try hard enough.
What do you think of that statement?
Well, I've got family with mental health issues, and it's not easy to snap out of. So I don't think you can just snap out of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Mental health problems have nothing to do with being lazy or weak, and many people need help to get better. Many factors contribute to the health problems, including biological factors, genes, physical illness, brain chemistry, but also life experiences such as trauma, history of abuse, family history of mental health problems. Yeah, so you're absolutely right on that one.
Depression doesn't affect older people. False.
Yeah, it's the most common mental illness in older people, but while 50% of younger people with depression, they are affected with mental health services, but only 6% of older people are. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I found that out.
You can be open about mental health problems without fearing you'll be treated differently. Fact or fiction?
What do you think of that?
I think that's fiction because personally I have mental health and I tell people, like my friends, and they're always like, oh, we've always got to worry about her and stuff. Like, no, I'm a human, man. I'm chill. It's just, you've got to appreciate sometimes I get upset and sometimes I need help because you struggle. But no, it's fiction.
Yeah, you're right. People often fear telling the family or their friends or the work colleagues because if they have a mental health problem because they're worried how people might react or might make some rude or
I agree. Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is only a military issue.
Do you think that's true or not? What do you think of that statement?
I don't think that's true because it can happen through car accidents and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it is something that certainly servicemen and servicewomen do develop and struggle with. The most common form of it is actually being the victim of a serious crime. So you're right, not just a military issue.
Antidepressants are given out too readily and they don't even work. Fact or fiction? I say that sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It depends on the number of years it takes to work. Plus, it's a fact that it depends on what antidepressant is given to the person to see whether if that one's going to work or not. But you just don't know if it is or it isn't. Does it help? Does it not help?
Yeah.
But in my case, I've been on them 20 years or more, and they're just starting to work. And they've had to up the dose. But as I say to everybody, it's take it or leave it as the doctor says. If they say it's going to help, try it. That's all you can do with it.
Yeah, well, the guidelines that doctors follow suggest antidepressants be prescribed in cases of moderate or severe depression where it's having a truly negative effect on the person's everyday life and their quality of life. Yeah.
Can recover completely from a mental illness, fact or fiction?
What do you think of that statement? Do you think it's fact or fiction?
Without knowing everything, I don't think it's either, really, to be honest. I think it's too. I think with the amount of people who have severe mental health issues, and it doesn't get the publicity it deserves, and I don't think people like talking about it. I think it's neither of those. I think so. Some people, yeah, it depends on how much support they've got, the family situation, social things going on. Yeah, any one of those could mean that, yeah, they get better and it completely goes away. Sometimes maybe one of those things is missing and they don't get any help, and they never get better.
Well, many people can and do recover completely from mental illnesses, alongside professional help to support the family and friends, and getting back into work. They're all important in helping a person recover.
Yeah, I would have said, yeah.
It's easy for young people to talk to friends about their feelings.
How do you feel about that statement?
I think if you have a really close relationship with your friend, then yes, but I know sometimes the way that I feel personally as well, I feel kind of embarrassed to then go and talk to my friend about this. There's one friend, like my best friend that I've got, that we've spoke about this in depth with each other, and she's got the same sort of feeling, so it's easy for us to talk to each other. But I think a lot of people will feel alone, especially young people, thinking that they can't go and speak up.
Yeah, you're right. Nearly 3 in 4 young people hear the reactions of their friends when they talk about their mental health problems.
Yeah.
So
people with mental health illnesses are usually violent and unpredictable.
what do you think of that statement?
I guess it's fact. Emotions do bad things to you.
Well, sometimes it can be true, but people with mental illnesses, they are more likely to be a victim of violence.
People with mental health problems don't experience discrimination, fact or fiction. I would say that's fiction. I think they do very much experience discrimination, and they're seen as being not as good as other people because they have problems, which is not the case at all.
Yeah, you're right. 9 out of 10 people with mental health problems experience stigma and discrimination. So you're right about that one.
Young people just go through ups and downs as part of puberty. It's nothing.
What do you think of that statement?
I think puberty is a really traumatic period for anybody, and I think they do go through ups and downs. Whether it's nothing, well, it doesn't mean that it's nothing. It's just part of growing up. It can be worse than that. It can be something, you know, that's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
So I think kind of both. It is true and it is false.
Yeah, well,
I mean, people, it is a traumatic time, and most children would get over these things, but it can be really damaging, and it can be something a lot more than that.
Yeah. 1 in 10 young people actually do experience a mental illness, so it's a lot more common than people think it is.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah.
Personality weakness or character flaws cause mental health problems. People with mental health problems can snap out of it if they try hard enough. Fact or fiction? I think this is fiction. It's nothing to do with them being able to snap out of it. It's something that has to be done over a long period of time. It can't just be done immediately. It's a long process. It can't just happen overnight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with being lazy or weak in many factors.
Yeah.
Physical health, brain
Yeah.
chemistry, but also the use of things like pondering task and attention.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. That was great.
Environmental.
You can be open about mental health problems without fearing you'll be treated differently. Fact or fiction? Personally, I'd say that. Actually, I'd kind of say that's a fact. Having dealt with it myself, I'd say that a lot of my friends weren't as supportive as I thought they would be. And it wasn't exactly that I was being judged. It was just that they thought it was something that was a quick fix, and it definitely wasn't.
It's not something that's massively talked about. It's very taboo and like not.
Yeah.
It's something that is as bad, if not worse, as physical problems.
Yeah, and people do often see it as opening up the due to stigma and the shame, and people can get each other with, or each other around friends. Yeah.
Mental health just isn't as important as physical health.
What do you think of that statement?
Fact.
Alright.
Because if you go to the hospital for a broken leg, you see it straight away, where if you go and say, oh, I'm suffering from mental health, they don't take it seriously. It's a referral, or it's come back in a few weeks, see how you feel.
Yeah. Well, mental illness accounts for around 22% of the disease burden, yet we invest less than 6% of the annual health research budget in mental health. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Really good. That was really
You
good.
know what I mean?
There's someone out there. I don't know who, but we just heard a bang and then another bang, and people were running and screaming, and now it's silent.
What brings you to Speaking Up Too?
I was really hoping to be the next Steven Spielberg, but that hasn't really happened.
Well, I was hoping to meet loads of fit boys on the last day, but...
I knew that was going to happen.
They're the worst.
Hello? Hello?
Hiya.
Oh, hello, love. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, good. What are you up to?
Oh, I'm just walking to Broadacre.
Right, okay. So what are you hoping to do today there?
Oh, I've got a few things planned.
Cat? Cat? Cat?
Hello?
She's disappeared. I don't know what she's on. Cat? Cat? What's going on?
I just fell over.
What? Are you alright?
I think so.
Oh my God. This is why you should never go out alone, young lady.
Well, you know what I'm like.